We are encouraged to see the ice jams are beginning to clear on both the Athabasca and the Peace Rivers, and that water volumes are starting to go down, and are hopeful that in the next 48 to 72 hours, we'll see a significant abatement of the flood conditions in both Fort McMurray, Fort Vermilion, and elsewhere. So I would like to commend all of the first responders, all of the emergency personnel, and others who have been working around the clock, as we saw in Fort McMurray on Monday, to keep people safe. And our hearts go out to all of those whose homes or businesses have been affected by these floods. As I said in Fort McMurray earlier this week, it's just unthinkable that some of the folks who've just rebuilt their homes over the past 4 years, following the terrible wildfires of 2016, now see those very same homes, in some cases, underwater. And people whose life savings are tied up in their businesses to see those businesses partly underwater in those communities at a time that was already incredibly challenging with the economic adversity plus the pandemic. It is just too much for, I think, some people to bear. But we want them to know that the government and the people of Alberta stand with them, and we are providing every possible support to them. That is why I am here today to announce that the government of Alberta will be extending emergency evacuation cash payments to evacuees from the northern floods in the amount of $1,250 for adults and $500 for minors under the age of 18. We estimate that this will represent a emergency cash payments for a 1-week installment of $11.7 million. Those payments will be available for application through My Alberta starting this upcoming Monday. And as in the past, as we've done with wildfire and flood situations for emergency evacuation payments, those will be automatic electronic transfers so that people can get that cash in hand just as quick as possible to cover some of the essential costs of living while they're dealing with all of the displacement and the challenges of living as evacuees. I should underscore that these folks generally have been housed in local hotels. Many folks from the Fort McMurray evacuation have been put into hotels in the south side of town. I understand that those hotels are now full, and then some people are being offered hotel space further south, including in Edmonton. And the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo is covering the initial costs. In due course, we will work out provincial cost sharing with Wood Buffalo in the emergency response. And as I indicated to Mayor Scott, we believe that given the 1-in-100-year nature of this disaster, that it will qualify for the Alberta Disaster Recovery Program. So as I say, the province will be there in a very real way. So, folks, I guess this is important to underscore that people are not having to be cash out of hand to pay for their own accommodation right now. My understanding is that bills for those hotel rooms go directly to Wood Buffalo, and I believe the same is the case for Mackenzie County for Fort Vermilion evacuees, and Minister Sani can provide additional details. So the key point here is that we stand behind these folks, that help is there, and it will be following through with these emergency evacuation payments. I'd also like to thank Prime Minister Trudeau for having called me earlier today to express his concern and that of the Government of Canada for the people affected by these ice jams and floods in northern Alberta. He acknowledged with me that these communities have already been through enough, and it's just tragic to see yet another adversity thrown at people in northern Alberta, particularly in Fort McMurray. The Prime Minister did extend an offer of federal assistance, and I thanked him on behalf of the Government of Alberta for that offer. At this point, we believe that there's adequate logistical support to support those communities between the municipal governments and the Government of Alberta. At this point, we have not received any formal request from either municipality for federal logistical support, but should it be forthcoming, we would obviously pass that on to the federal authorities.